Thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Well, hi, Sealed Book family. Okay, so you can see that I have my dad with me again. My favorite person. He has just been my hero my whole life. And we were on just a couple of days ago talking about ragtown.org and the streaming site, Peter the Rock. And so hopefully you caught Thursday's broadcast on that. But I wanted to bring Dad back and talk a little more when we got a little more time about several things, and certainly the call to the ministry, more about Ragtown, let you see that beautiful place we were talking about. And so, but first, I got to tell you, I have grown up with this man, and I mean, he's been in so many, my whole life, my dad has been an actor. And not only an actor, but a singer. I grew up with all kinds of music in my home, and blessing.
I have to tell you something about Amy. She was talking about music in the home. When the kids were little, probably 4, I taught them a little song. Actually, you may not even know this, but my dad taught me this
Really?
song. Yeah.
It was from Papa. Okay.
Yeah. And so the little song it's called, and I'll sing it for you. At the bar where I smoked my first cigar, and the nickels in my pockets rolled away. It was there by chance that I ripped my Sunday pants, and now I have to wear them every day. Oh, yeah. And that's the way I taught them to do that. So, okay, all right. And we were in church every Sunday, and so one Sunday they started the song at the cross. At the cross where I first saw the light, and the burdens of my heart rolled. And so, and when the song started, Amy, in her piercing 4-year-old voice, said, "Daddy, they're doing At the Bar." I wanted to crawl under the pew.
I remember At the Bar. Yes, and Bony Fingers. They wouldn't let me sing Bony Fingers in Sunday school. Mm-hmm. So, yes,
I asked Amy, we were leaving church, or we were at home or something, we're headed home, and I said to her, there's a song called Bony Fingers at that time that she heard on the radio, because I was on the radio at that time. And she heard me play it. And so I said, well, did you have a good time in Sunday school this morning? And Amy said, well, they wouldn't let me sing Bony Fingers.
Oh, goodness. Anyway, so Dad has had this amazing acting career. We were talking about the fact that you've done well over 100 plays.
Yeah.
Oh, see, popular.
I'm sorry. Let me turn this off.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that's okay. He's a popular man.
I should have done that. Put this thing on. What do you call
Silent.
it? Airplane mode.
Oh, airplane mode. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, there we
go. Perfect.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It reminds me of all the impromptu stuff that we do. Like,
yeah.
I understand live because I fell off the porch live
Yes,
with my dad. Many of y'all remember that.
God.
Many of you were watching when I fell off the porch.
Yes.
So
and I had just had open heart surgery.
Yes, you had a major surgery.
Or something. And we were doing this sitting out on the porch in my backyard. Our backyard, and Amy fell off
I
the
scooted
deck.
my chair back, and the chair fell off the deck, and up my feet went. And
and her feet was all you could see was Amy's little foot. She got hung down there. She didn't fall far. The deck's only like 8 inches or something tall, and but she couldn't not get unhooked.
I know,
Couldn't get,
it's so
oh, golly,
embarrassing.
I laughed.
So,
Brains out.
turnabout's fair play.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So
But anyway, we're not going to be falling off the porch right here.
No, okay.
But so I wanted you guys to hear a little bit about the things that Dad has done, and I remember all these plays growing up. But it's not just plays. Like there's so many words in my dad's head, and I mean like find something and because it's all funny. It's funny stuff.
and that's a side of me that nobody really sees much anymore. Because I used to entertain at banquets all the time, and I know all these little funny songs and things, and
Like at the bar.
yeah, I got but let me I tell you what. Let me do a thing. Okay, I'll do this for you.
Okay.
I was introduced to cowboy poetry back many years ago, and the first cowboy poetry I ever heard in my life was a poem called Reincarnation. You remember that? Okay. And so
Yes.
let me do it.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I can. Okay. Okay, and let me explain. First of all, when you do cowboy poetry, you got to sort of talk like this, don't you see? I mean, this is kind of a rule, I think. Okay, all right. The name of it is Reincarnation.
Okay.
Okay, I can't believe it. Okay, thus what is reincarnation? A cowpoke asked his friend. Well, his pal replied, it happens when your life has reached its end. They comb your hair and wash your neck and clean your fingernails and place you in a padded box away from life's travails. Now, the box in you goes in a hole that's been dug down in the ground. The reincarnation starts when you're planted neath a mound. Now, them clods melt down just like the box, and you who is inside, and that's when you just beginning on your transformation ride. Now, after a while, some grass will grow upon your rendered mound. And then one day upon your grave, a lonely flower is found. Now, say a horse should wander by and graze upon this flower. It once was you and has now become your vegetative bower. Now, this posy that the horse done ate along with his other feed makes bone and fat that's muscle and muscle that's essential to the steed. But there is a part that he can't use, and so it passes through and finally lands upon the ground, this thing that once was you. Now, say I should wander by and I see this on the ground, and I wonder and I ponder about this object that I found. And I think about life and death and reincarnation and such. And I come away concluding, Slim, you ain't changed all that much. I can't believe I remember all those words.
You have so many words in your head, like
yeah,
100 plays that you know of that you've done.
Yeah.
You're in your 60th production at Ragtown right now.
Right, mm-hmm.
But you've been an actor all of your life since you were.
I was in a play in college when I met your mother, and
Wow.
But I have been an actor literally for 71 years. Because I'm 80 years old, and I got my first role when I was 9 years old. My fourth grade teacher
Wow.
gave me the role of the hero in a little play at school, and this lit a fire in me. It's never gone out. And so I've done it a long time, and I love it. I love doing what I do. And so for years I did community theater, and of course obviously college plays, high school plays, and then we did community theater stuff. You and I did a play together.
We've done several. Few Good Men. We did a Few Good Men.
We did Last of the Red Hot Lovers together, and so many shows we've done together. I've always loved being on stage with you. It makes me proud. But done it a long, long time,
But then you felt that kind of coincides with at some point in that journey, you felt called to the ministry.
yes, when I was 25 years old, and one Sunday morning, I just felt like God. As a matter of fact, I went up we were going to the Baptist church at that time, and I went down to the front and I talked to my pastor, and I said, Ken, it was Ken Andrus, and I said, Ken, I just feel like God has something very special for me to do, and I don't know what it is. And he gave me some wonderful advice. He said, Glenn, when you're ready, and when God is ready, you'll know exactly what it is. So my suggestion to you is you just wait. So I did. I waited
Long time.
for 30 years.
Yeah.
And when I was 55 years old, matter of fact, we had been in a prayer group, Twyla and I, your mom and I, had been in a prayer group for 16 years. And one of the women in the prayer group had seen me do a lot of things, Brenda Travis, and she gave me a copy of a video of Dean Jones doing a play called St. John in Exile. And she said, Glenn,
It's just the one person.
Yeah,
He was just him on
yeah.
Patmos, right?
He was on the Isle of Patmos, and he did this in a church. And some of you may remember Dean Jones. He was in the original Love Bug movies. He was a Disney actor for years, and excuse me. So I put this Twilight on the next day. I put it in the VCR. It tells you how long ago it was. And about 15 minutes into it, I said to her, "Honey, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do." And so, from that moment to this one, that's what I've done.
So God took your talent and your love of acting, and when you were ready, he switched it into acting for the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible says that God will give you the desires of your heart. And I always thought, well, if I pray hard enough, I'll get a new Lincoln or something. And that's not what that means at all. He will give you the desires of your heart. He will put the desires of your heart into you. He will give you that. And that's what he did for me. He gave me the desire to be an actor. And because I was a theater major in college, and that's what my degree is in. But all this time, all this preparation that I was doing, all these plays down through the years, and finally, when I was ready, and God was ready, he revealed to me exactly what it was. And so,
It's so
and
neat.
gosh, it's been such an amazing journey so far. Spider and I, when we were called into ministry, we began to travel doing a play called Paul the Apostle.
And these are like, this one was a one-man production, kind of
Yeah.
like what Dean Jones.
Yeah, because a matter of fact, I wanted to do
So
St.
is that
John
a
in Exile.
soliloquy or something?
Yeah,
What's it called?
No, it's just a one-man production. But I wanted to do St. John in Exile, the one I saw Dean Jones do, and that's a whole other story about how that. But I ended up talking to Dean Jones, and it was so cool. He was exactly like you would hope he would be.
That's so cool.
Unlike what a lot of actors are, but he was just, he said, and I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, if you want to go into gospel ministry, get ready for the ride of your life. And boy, was he ever right.
So my uncle had written Paul the Apostle, and you're going to do that on Ragtown streaming too. Eventually, you'll see lots of these plays. But he had written Paul for his Sunday school class, and
it wasn't in Sunday school. It was his pastor had asked him to do something for a Good Friday service.
okay, yeah, that's
Write
right.
something for a Good Friday service, and so he wrote the play Paul the Apostle, and it's interesting because he says, I just happened to be in the room when it was written. He said, it's hard for me to even put my name on it as the playwright because
It's another one of my favorites.
yeah, he said, I just happened to be there. And I'll tell you a funny story about that, because when I decided to start traveling with that play, I called him and I said, there's one scene in it that, of course, I mean, you don't want to jack with a playwright's played. I mean, that's, I have enough respect for him in that regard that I didn't want to just change things. And so I called him and I asked him about it. I said, there's one scene that I'd like to take out if it's okay with you. And he said, which one? And I told him, and he just got tickled. And he said, well, that's the scene that I wrote. God wrote the rest of it. Because I was unaware of any of that. But
That's funny.
yeah, and so, yeah.
So you ended up, once you felt called into the ministry, which is so cool because, again, the talent that he has as an actor, the Lord just used everything that he loves to do. And when you are putting that towards the Lord, man, he can bless it. So you ended up taking Paul.
Yes.
Was your first one, and you and Mom went into ministry. When was that?
In 2000.
Okay.
And
25 years.
So, and we started to travel to, churches, and we ended up going to almost 300 churches in places. Not it wasn't all churches, but I was asked to do it in other places. But I even did it one time in a cattle sale barn. And it was in the winter. I about froze to death. Of course, there obviously no dressing room, so I put on my costume outside between a couple of cars, and I'll tell you this, I mean, it was cold, the wind was blowing, and I put on this biblical robe, and you can sure tell where your underwear stops. I can guarantee you. I got a whole new appreciation for women that wear dresses.
Yes.
And that's a whole other story.
So where was the favorite place that you did it? Because you were all over the world with that.
Yeah, we did. We got to perform in all over the southern United States, and then in Europe, we were in a whole bunch of churches in the Czech Republic and Vienna, Austria. But my favorite place was at a 2,000-year-old amphitheater in Caesarea, Israel.
Wow.
And
well, that's where Paul really was.
yes, and I'm standing on that huge amphitheater stage with the Mediterranean Sea in the background, and it's just, and it was just such an amazing experience for me. And yeah, that was sort of the on the bucket list, icing on
The
the
highlight
cake.
of that portion of your ministry,
Yes,
the traveling.
yeah.
So amazing. Don't you know Paul was just like, go Glenn.
I hope
So cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting that fellow.
Oh yes, and there's another one that you are looking forward to meeting, several, because you've played them all through the years at Ragtown. But after you did that, then Chip, the one that wrote Paul, came to you and Mom, and I remember y'all saying that he sat you down and said, "I'm planning the rest of your life."
Yeah, no, actually, I called him. Oh no, he called me. We were traveling. We're way down in South Texas. We had been up just in Farmington, New Mexico, which is just on almost into Colorado. And one Sunday, and then the following Sunday, we were in the tip of Texas. I was never really good about booking my
Lots of road miles.
And so we were in a motor home down in the south end of Texas, and he called me and he said, when you get home, I want to talk to you. And I said, what about? He said, I'm not going to tell you. I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm planning the rest of your life. And so when we got home, I called him, and he came over to our house, and he said, I want to build Ragtown and the theater. And so Twine and I both, it was like, okay, we'll do it. And we spent every dime we had building that place, but I don't regret that at all, because it's it's a beautiful amazing. And if you watch these videos, you kind of get a feel of some of our sets. And I don't
We can put some pictures through
Maybe
too of some of the sets, but we actually have a video of the building of Ragtown, and Dad was the main contractor.
Yeah.
It was really
Yeah,
amazing
I had a lot of help.
how Chip and Robin, my aunt and uncle, and then Mom and Dad, the four of them, built this place, and with just a little bit of help here and there, but it was their.
I never built anything bigger than a doghouse in my life. What were we thinking?
Oh, God was so in it though. I'm so proud of this place. I mean, I know I talk about it all the time, but we're going to show you a video of the building of Ragtown, and you see pictures or video of Dad walking that place with your cowboy hat on. And so how old were you when you built Ragtown? Because, 60.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. We started building it in 2005. So that would make me.
So you were 60
Yeah.
when you started. And this place is so amazing.
Yeah, I learned how to drive a bulldozer and a backhoe.
We got funny stories. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So let me show you the building of this amazing place. So cool. So cool. Isn't that amazing? So so let's just, while we're doing funny things, tell one funny story about the backhoe, because there, when you were hauling all the dirt, and there's so many.
You lost me. I don't know what story you're talking about.
Remember when, or was it the which one lost the brakes?
Oh no, it was a dump truck.
The dump truck.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yes,
Yeah.
not the backhoe, the dump truck.
Yeah, well, we had to that is a funny story. We were building, when we were building Ragtown, we had to raise the land up. It was sloped, and so we had to raise the land up 16 feet. And so we dug this big hole out, and we had a big track hoe that a young man he was operating the track hoe. And Chip and I my brother Chip and I were driving dump trucks. And so he would fill one truck, and we would have this little path, and we would drive around and unload, and then we would come back, and by that time the other one was loaded. And we were on walkie-talkies, because I mean, he would come out and I would go in, and so he wanted to make sure that, because I had borrowed a dump truck from a friend of mine, and I called him, and because I knew he did some of that kind of work, and I said, first of all, I said, could I rent one of your trucks? He said, no, I'll loan you one. And I said, he said, I've got one that you can. He said, it runs and it dumps. That's pretty much it. And so
It doesn't stop.
it doesn't stop. It doesn't have any brakes. And so I said, wonderful. What? This truck had been sitting out in the sun for so long. Literally, the steering wheel was nothing but just a metal ring. All of the plastic was melted off of this.
Wow.
I mean, it was amazing. And sitting out in the Texas heat. And so it didn't have a seat. I had to put a 5-gallon bucket there. And so I'm driving this dump truck. And Chip's younger, he got the better truck, but he didn't have any brakes either. And so that's why we had to, we were on these walkie-talkies. Okay, so the way this thing worked, he would come out and I would back in. And then I would come out and he would back in, and they would beat each other. Okay. So we figured out how to stop these trucks. Because if you go slow enough and it's in gear,
Eventually.
it'll just it'll stop. And so we figured out how long it took us to get to the right place and to make it stop. Okay, so he is sitting there, and he's got his cowboy hat on, and he's sitting there in the dump truck being loaded. And so I'm coming up to get to my spot. I'm about to come in, and I'm expecting him to come out. And so generally he would say on his, and I would say the same thing. When I'm coming out, I would click that, I'm coming out. And so he was sitting there in neutral. He was in neutral. The truck was running, but he was in, and the guy that was running the track hoe got a little close, and he hit the back of Chip's truck. Well, just shot him down the road. And and it's kind of a bumpy road, so he is flying down through there. Well, he hits one of these big bumps, and he goes to the top of the dump truck. His hat comes down around his eyes. Now he can't see a cotton picking, and of course he lost his walkie-talkie, and he's yelling, "I'm coming out! I'm coming out!" I mean, he's full of dirt. He goes flying down. Of course, I had no idea, because I couldn't hear it. My truck was loud. And all of a sudden, he just shoots out in front of me. And I'm thinking, he's going too fast. There's a tree right down there. Well, he couldn't turn this thing very fast, because he was loaded. He would have turned over.
Yeah, right.
He was fully loaded. Oh gosh, it was hilarious. I mean, he finally got his hat off his. I mean, can you imagine?
No.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, it's a funny visual.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I hope you got the picture.
Yeah, there are lots of funny stories like that
Yeah.
where,
I hope
during
I
the
explained it
building
well.
of that place. But after seeing that video, and you can just see the magnificence of that place, and you guys never had more than about 7 people
Yeah.
working with you
It's interesting
at a
because
time.
we had a couple of high school boys, and then uh, there was a fellow that that kind of knew what he was doing, and then there was a young man that actually a young man named Carl Perry that I became really close to. And Carl and I worked together quite a lot, and I had the opportunity to lead Carl to the Lord the day we finished building Ragtown.
He was the first fruit
Yeah,
of
he
that
was
place.
the first fruit Ragtown, and I love Carl, and I'd love to see him again. Maybe if you know Carl Perry and you're watching this.
He was was he a transplant from Katrina? Or some of them were? No,
Yeah,
he just,
somewhere. There was one fellow that ended up right at the point that we needed the air conditioning. A young man that was displaced from Katrina, and that's the thing. When we built it, the that's a whole other smoke. But we had bought the steel. The steel was lying out on the ground, and that's when Katrina hit. And of course, the price of everything tripled. All of the workers went to the coast, and so I told Chip, I said, the clock is running. I mean, we've got to build this thing. And so, and there are no workers to build it.
there's no room in the inn. There's no workers.
And so we hired the building, hired a group of Mennonite fellows that erect these metal buildings, and we hired the building.
The raising
Stood
of the
up.
steel.
Well, before that, we
Yeah,
had,
and y'all saw that coming up with the steel. Yeah.
we hired the concrete poured, and then but all of the plumbing and all the electrical and all that business, like you saw in the film, and then the building began to come up, and that was these guys. But then everything that the inside of the building, everything that you see there, we did it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I look, even to this day, I look at it and I'm just going, gracious, how did we do it? And then I realized we didn't. God did it. Interesting story. There's a fellow. He was a pumper, oil field pumper. There are a lot of oil wells around on our property. I
wish we had some of those.
I wish the mineral rights had come with the land, but anyway, he was a pumper, and he pumped all those wells. He was about to retire, and a pretty crusty fella, and so the day, or I guess the week he was about to retire, he came up to the building, and at that point in time, we had all of the sheetrock walls, and we hadn't done any painting at all the faux painting. We hadn't done any of that, but we had all the rocks and faux rocks and brick, all that done. And he said, I want to see what's going on in this blankety blank. I said, well, come on in here, let me show you. And so I brought him in the building, and you know how you do when you're talking about something over there, you look over there, and then over here you're talking about this thing or that thing, and you look at what you're pointing at. And so but he was like sitting like right where you are, and I was pointing, okay, the stage is going to be right there, and I turned around and looked at that man, and tears were just streaming down his cheeks. And I thought, if just looking at all this white sheetrock can touch that man's heart, imagine what it's going to be like. And
lights and sound.
yeah, with all the lights and sound and everything is painted and done, and and God has really blessed it. I could tell you a lot of stories about things that have happened there, and it's been, God has really used it. And when Chip was talking to Twyla and me about building it, one of the things he said was, people the hardest people in the world to witness to you are your family, because they know you with all your warts. And these are Chip's words. And he said people will come to a theater that won't darken the door of a church. And then he said this sentence right here, and it just absolutely resonated with me. He said, if we can open the door to somebody's heart this wide, imagine the conversations that might take place on the way home. And Father and I both we're there. Let's do it. Let's build it. So we did.
And boy, you did. And it's been 20 years of play after play after play. Just, I mean, like, one would finish and then you would take a month off and build a set and start another one. And Chip wrote all the plays, and then you were the main actor and director and directed all the plays. And so Ragtown, streaming, ragtown.org is, I'm so thrilled that people are finally going to get to see these amazing productions.
I am too. I really, when we filmed all of those productions, we didn't realize. I mean, we thought we were just going to sell DVDs. Well, DVDs have become a thing of the past.
Yeah.
And I never thought about people around the country being able to see them, like on Ragtown streaming. The DVDs themselves have gone literally all over the world. Excuse me. I want to tell you, first time when we were doing Paul, when we were traveling, the first time I did it live on television, and we were talking about doing things live earlier, and it was primetime Christian broadcasting, and I did not realize how far they, well, anyway, so I was about 2 minutes from the time I was about to start, and the gentleman who owned the station, he came over to me and he said, I want you to do a good job, because we broadcast to 2.5 million households. I just about fainted. I thought, well, maybe 100 people are going to see this.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the beginning of doing stuff on television. So.
Well, it's been an amazing thing to watch all these years, and we've been able to. Steve and I both have been able to be in a few.
Yes.
To just, some of my favorite pictures of me and you are when we're dressed in our costume stuff. But my favorite has always been and will always be Peter the Rock, because it just has we talked about this on Thursday. It has a special anointing on it, and everybody has a little bit of Peter in them. And
I love playing that big fisherman. And I can so identify with Peter, and as you said, a lot of people can, because I've had my foot in my mouth most of my life. and
such a leader. You've always been such a leader. You can tell by that video that that's just Dad's role.
Chip says, when he's talking about when we did Peter, he was talking to the audience prior to the production, and he said, Glenn did a good job as Paul, but he is Peter. He said I have no doubt that he would have cut that guy's ear off. And
you did step out of the boat.
I did step out of the boat, and in lots of ways in our lifetime, and so.
It's so good. So do you have a line or a scene in Peter? I know we played a clip the other day on it, but is there something that really just stands out in your mind about that show that you just?
Yeah. There's right at the end of the play, Peter has talked to Jesus about all these things, and good and bad, that happened during their friendship. I mean, like I said, Peter was not only Lord, but he was his friend. And and Peter, so regrets the things that he did. But at the very end of the play, he's talking to the Lord, and all of a sudden you hear this gigantic door open, and you hear the soldiers coming. And just at that moment, Peter becomes afraid for just a second. And then he says, I wish I could have had more time. There's so many who yet wander this world, is waiting for a word from one of your own. And it just, that particular moment in the play, when he just instantly feels fear.
He hears the boots
He hears
coming,
the boots,
marching
and
to get
yes,
him. Yeah.
But then he realizes that's only for a second, a brief affliction. So yeah,
Wow.
that's it. Such a, as an actor, that's such a sweet moment, and the play was well received and always has been, and my favorite. It always, of all the shows you'll see, hopefully on ragtown.org, you'll see lots of plays.
Yeah.
I hope you don't get tired of looking at me.
Well, you look different in every one,
Yeah.
because Peter, of course, this beautiful part, part of getting ready, those years of waiting, his hair got white and his beard got white,
Oh,
and he just looks so beautiful on stage. But the different looks that you have, Joseph the carpenter is the next one after Peter,
Yeah.
and you played Gabriel, and no beard, and and that's a really cool
When I
scene
shaved
too.
that beard off, I realized why I grew it.
Yeah, well, you were like, what?
I
That's not Pop.
I gotta cover this thing up.
But it's just been such a blessing, Dad, to just watch this ministry unfold, and you've certainly been an inspiration to me in my ministry, and you and Mom both have just been rocks.
Well, thank you.
So I want you to go and look at ragtown.org, TOWN, not ragtime, Ragtown, and check out Peter the Rock. You will be absolutely blessed.
And I want to thank you and all the Seal Book family. That you guys have been sweet to me, and I sort of experienced Amy's ministry vicariously, and I get to be around the good part, it's not all that study that you do, and it's just making your head swell. But I listen to you, and I just think, good gracious, that wasn't me. That was not my teaching. That's, God just downloads all that stuff to you. It's amazing to me, what a wonderful Bible teacher you are, and to so many thousand people, it just thrills me, and
Thank
I
you.
love it.
Well,
I love it. I love you.
I'm glad that our Sealbook family gets to experience our relationship. One of the other interviews that we did that I actually get a lot of comments on, and we'll wrap up here, is the one that we talked about you coming out of Masonry, and what a journey that was for Dad. And I would really encourage you to go into the archives if you know someone that is a Mason, or in your family. We walked through that together years and years ago, and I've watched the Lord take, because in Masonry, you have to memorize all those degrees and the plays, and then what God did in your life when you laid that down and saw what that was about. But I think that's a very, very important interview as well.
Yeah.
If you know someone that you love, like I did my dad, and so we'll put a link to that up. It may be relevant to some of you.
It might be to some of you, yes.
Yeah. So the explosion of anointing that happened in your life after that was amazing. So,
Yes.
Daddy, thank you for coming and
thank you.
just
Thank you for
chatting.
having me.
And I hope that you tell people about this and you share ragtown.org with folks. It will be a huge blessing. to them.
Please do, please do. And let me tell you something else. I mean, it's all donation based. And you know, some people can afford only a little bit, some more than that, and so it really makes no difference how much.
I love that. I love that because, you know, I mean, it's the same thing we do in our ministry, Daddy. It's just, we want the information out there. And I can tell you when you donate and you get the link, you can have people over at your house and watch it almost like a movie on, you know, it sure beats Netflix.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm glad that you guys did it that way because everybody can have access to it.
Yes.
And it's not a particular charge. You can just donate whatever you feel led to do in your heart.
And I think the way it works, I mean, once you have the link, you have it for the
entire month.
For a month, and you don't have to donate every time.
Right.
Once you have the link, you have the link, and so then of course the plays will change. And she mentioned the plays will change monthly, and so.
So you only have a couple more weeks to actually do Peter. It's been running, but you want to make sure that you jump on that before the end of the month.
Yes.
Thanksgiving is a great time if you're around family to log into that, and you can bless some folks with it. But
and it runs about I think 55 minutes, 50 minutes.
So
or
all of
something.
them are right around that time, about 45 to 55 minutes.
Right.
And then Joseph comes in for Christmas. So thank you guys for watching. Please share this.
Please do.
and share ragtown.org with folks. And we will see you on the next broadcast.
Blessings.